Hey, what's going on YouTube? Hiker Dave here. How are ya? It is cold here. Cold here in New England today. That tree wasn't down. Yesterday I was out here. Briefly, I didn't hike very far or very long. Trees fall in the woods. It is really frigid. So anyway, how's everybody doing? I hope everyone's doing well. Thinking as I'm walking around out here with my camera pointed up in the air like this, and you know how many people actually spot Sasquatch when they're looking? I would think not many. And it's something that I've been thinking about actually lately as I'm hiking around, and I have that intent in my mind that, you know, I'm looking at everything that moves, and every little stick lean and stick break I am investigating, and it makes me think that Sasquatch is laughing at me. You know, this Bigfoot's behind a tree just thinking to itself, man, you are just really approaching this whole thing wrong. You know, of course, people generally just kind of hike through the woods or mountain bike, and they're completely oblivious, really, to what's around them. As far as, you know, as far as Bigfoot goes, generally people don't give that a second thought. And Sasquatch could be 25 feet off of a trail, just kind of checking things out, and people just wouldn't know, would have no idea. And then they got me walking around, hiking around in the woods, and I'm looking at every shadow and stopping every 50 feet I stop and look at my surroundings, and I investigate this and that, and it makes me wonder if they have eyes on me. I'm not saying there's anything out here right now today. That's not what I'm insinuating. But I do think about if as I'm being observed and they see me approach these stick leans and tree bends and sapling breaks, and they must, I would think, you know, say, oh, here comes one of those people that know what they're looking at. They know what they're looking for, and they're on to us, right? I'm on to you, Bigfoot. But you know, on a serious note, it seems to me, I think it puts me at a disadvantage. Whereas someone, you know, a lot of sightings are people driving down the road, you know, somewhere, and they turn a corner at night maybe, and there's a Bigfoot that's crossing the road, and they catch a glimpse of it, you know. People that, you know, you often hear the story of, oh, you know, I never believed in that. It was something I never gave another thought to. And there seems to be that common thing that when there's a sighting, and you know, of course, I think most likely a lot of sightings go unreported. But I think the ones that are, oftentimes, it's almost more credible, right? When you talk to somebody that even may still question what it is that they saw, you know, and say, I don't know what it was. It could have been a bear or you know, but, you know, you get a sighting from a first-hand account from somebody that was actually out in the woods looking. I think that it might be, people tend to to think that maybe that story was concocted or made up. That was interesting. There it is again. Two small knocks. I think that when it's really, really frigid, cold like this, you could have a couple of trees that rub together. That may make, a strange noise. All right, I'm just going to continue on here. So to talk further about that, take for instance the Patterson-Gimlin film, and that, just take it at face value, and not look too deep into it, and just say, well, these guys were actually out to film a Bigfoot, or to catch a Bigfoot on film. At face value, that's the story, right? And so to think, well, these guys actually set out that day to film a Bigfoot, or to catch a Bigfoot on film, and they succeeded in doing that. And like I said, put aside what has come out, the past years about the backstory, it still can't be denied that they went out that day specifically to film, to catch a Sasquatch on video. So it's funny, the past few times I've been out here, I kind of I've been trying to take the approach of kind of whistling through the graveyard, right? Just kind of walking down the trail, nothing to see here, and maybe I can bamboozle Sasquatch into thinking I'm just an innocent passerby, and I know, of course, that's not realistic, but it's something I give thought to sometimes. This area seems to be flooded out here, right in front of me. This is kind of the way I want it to go today. The trail wraps around here and to the right, and then it down a little further. Okay. Maybe stop playing games with me. I think it could possibly be a tree leaning on a tree, making that popping or that tap sound. I came here today to the park that I'm at, the state park. It is completely empty. The office in the parking lot is closed. It's strange. And when I came in here, there were 3 or 4 cars leaving, and there was a police officer in the parking lot who, just as I parked, he left. And so the parking lot was completely empty. So it makes me wonder what happened. I mean, it's usually it's open 5 days a week, the ranger station, whatever we want to call that. So there's a little bit of an eeriness here. I mean, it's cold, but it's not like it's beautiful hiking weather as long as you bundle up. See, I want to go that way and over. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to backtrack a little bit and I'm going to cut through this way. I think that there's a small little game trail over here. I've taken it before, but I stumbled upon it on accident. So I'm just going to bushwhack a little bit here and go right through where I heard the scary, spooky sounds. So, as far as that goes with, me intentionally being out here and just exploring areas of different state forests, and I'm a firm believer that Sasquatch is a great observator, or likes to observe us. So if it's here, it knows I'm here. If it's anywhere near me, and that of course it would watch me, and it sees what I'm doing. It sees my head on a swivel. It sees me approaching different stick leans and tree breaks and things like this. So I just think it makes sense that it lessens my odds even more to see one. But then again, I think I somehow even that out a little bit because of the time I spend in the forest, that I think it helps my chances. So it's almost like it's a setback that I'm out here walking around with a camera, but also the time, the hours and days and weeks and months spent out in the woods helps. It helps my chances. And that's my opinion only, of course. It's cold. I definitely will be lighting a fire soon. I'm a slight pyro, so I enjoy that. But when it's this cold out here like this, it's a no-brainer to get a little blaze going. I carry these little fire blocks, and I also have plenty of water on me. And what I'll do is, once I get my hands warmed up, if I happen to build a little bit of a fire instead of just using the fire block, I'll make sure and saturate the ground, because the last thing I would ever want is to unintentionally start a fire. It's so eerie when it's quiet. I don't hear a single bird. And maybe because maybe it's just that cold out, right? It's just that frigid that even the little chickadee birds are huddled up in their nest. Oh, okay, here's the main trail. I knew I'd get it to it sooner or later. So I'm going to take a left here. So down here is that flooded out area, way down the end of this trail here. So another thing, is something I had thought about when I was up in New Hampshire, and me and my nephew, we were hiking Hedgehog Mountain, and we had a visitor with us, almost the whole hike, a raven, was kind of following us around and squawking. At times it would just squawk and go nuts, and other times it would be real quiet. And it was something I remember giving it some thought back then, and something I've been thinking about more lately as well is, this is just a theory of mine, guys, so it may sound a little crazy, but that possibly some of the other wild woodland creatures in the forest that may work in tandem with Sasquatch. It's hard to explain. Different kinds of birds as a warning system. That as I may become closer to a Sasquatch, possibly that crows or ravens might sound an alarm type thing. I know that in the summertime when I'm hiking, some birds, when I come down a certain trail, would just start to really get real mouthy and start to get loud, and you could see squirrels scurrying away and things like that. Like it's almost like the birds are yelling, saying, there's someone here, there's a presence here, and then things like coyotes or wolves working with Bigfoot in tandem, right, to hunt. Possibly coyotes could use their skills to flush out deer or prey, moose, things like that, towards a hunting party of Bigfoot. I know it sounds crazy, right? But because then there's a mutual benefit there for both species. Coyotes can maybe get some leftovers. The birds get to peck at the carcass, and Bigfoot gets to eat, right? I don't know. Just a thought. It is dead quiet here. Just absolute silence. Which I don't know what that means, guys. I'm not trying to insinuate anything. But this is, I usually hear something. Maybe it is the cold weather, I don't know. Just, it's eerie when you're out in a wild area, right? I know that the forest here is full of wildlife. And I hear absolutely nothing besides those little clicking sounds or those little wood tap sounds I heard back behind me. Anyways, I thought I would just share that with you guys. It's something I've been thinking about lately, about me intentionally looking could lessen the odds of me actually spotting a Sasquatch. I am still not sure I really even want to see one. I don't know. Of course, I continue to do this because I love to hike, but I have. Oh jeez. Oh God. I don't want to fall in and drown in this 1 foot of water here. I don't want to ruin my experience here in the forest. And if I knew for sure that it would, I don't know. It makes me second guess that. Kerry from Bigfoot Odyssey, he had an experience, and he didn't go into the woods for, I forget how long, 8, 9 years or something like that, or 10 or 11 years. He wouldn't even go out in the woods again anymore. And he was an avid hunter and loved the woods, loved the forest. So that's a really big fear of mine, that something that I love so passionately, I could actually be walking into something that ruins it. Anyways, thank you so much, you guys, for coming by. I really do appreciate it. And I'll definitely see you guys on the next one.